Ladies and gentlemen, they counted your losses, and God multiplied your wins. They thought they had you figured out. They counted your mistakes. They celebrated your failures. They whispered behind your back like vultures waiting for a body to decay. But here you are, breathing, fighting, rising. Listen to me carefully, because this is not just another speech. This is war for your mind. This is a call to arms for your soul. They thought you were finished, but God had a different plan. They thought the losses defined you, but God was multiplying what they could not see. Every loss was a seed. Every setback was a foundation. Every sleepless night was a prayer written in blood and sweat. And when God writes your story, no enemy can erase the chapters. Before I go further, pause for a second. If you are new here, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit the like button. Drop a comment telling me what battle you are facing, because this is not a one-way conversation. This is a community of warriors, and you just joined the army. And for my returning fighters, thank you. Your loyalty is fuel. You are proof that those who refuse to quit eventually build legacies. Now, let's dig deeper. Think about Nelson Mandela, locked in prison for 27 years. 27 years. People counted him out. They thought his losses would bury him. They thought he'd come out broken, bitter, forgotten. But he walked out of that prison with a fire, and God multiplied his pain into power. From prisoner to president, from silence to world leader, his losses were a blueprint for victory. Look at Thomas Edison. Thousands of failed attempts before creating the light bulb. People laughed. Critics mocked him. They counted every single failure like trophies on their wall. But what happened? God took those losses and multiplied them into one invention that lit up the world. The same people who mocked him had to live in the light of his persistence. Do you see the pattern? Your losses are not the end. They are evidence that God is preparing something so much bigger. You need to engrave this into your mind. God does not waste pain. God does not waste struggle. God does not waste loss. The very things people use to disqualify, you are the things God will use to elevate you. Let me tell you something brutal. People love to count your failures because it makes them feel safe. It makes them feel superior. They think if you fall, it means they don't have to climb. If you lose, it means they don't have to risk. Your failure is their comfort zone. But God does not operate in comfort zones. God operates in fire. God operates in storms. God operates in deserts where only the strongest survive. That is why you are still here. You walked through the storm and didn't break. You crawled through the desert and didn't quit. You walked through the fire and came out refined. You are not the same. Loss forged you. Failure sharpened you. Betrayal strengthened you. Every single loss was multiplication in disguise. Look at Joseph from Scripture. Sold by his brothers, betrayed, forgotten in prison, mocked. They counted his losses like they were writing his obituary. But God multiplied his path, from prisoner to ruler of Egypt, from forgotten to unforgettable. And let me remind you of Job. Lost everything: family, wealth, health. They thought it was over. They laughed. They mocked. But when God restored him, it was double. Double the blessing. Double the abundance. Double the victory. And here's the truth you must accept today. What you lost is not greater than what's coming. What they counted against you is about to be counted for you. Because God is not in the business of subtraction. God is in the business of multiplication. But hear me, you cannot walk into multiplication with the same mindset that tolerated subtraction. You have to change. You have to rewire your mind. You have to stop seeing yourself as a victim of loss and start seeing yourself as a vessel of multiplication. Let me break it down for you. When you lost that relationship, it was not rejection. It was redirection. When you lost that job, it was not destruction. It was construction. When you lost money, it was not depletion. It was preparation. God had to empty your hands so he could fill them with more. And this is where the warriors separate from the weak, because some will sit in the ashes crying over what was burned. But the warrior looks at the ashes and says, if God burned it, it wasn't meant for me. And what's coming next will be bigger than what was lost. You are the warrior. You are the one who refuses to bow to failure. You are the one who takes every loss and sharpens it into a sword. Listen, this life will not hand you victories on a silver plate. You will bleed. You will suffer. You will lose. But if you endure, God will multiply. If you stay faithful, God will multiply. If you rise every time you fall, God will multiply. They counted your losses, but they will choke on your wins. Look at Oprah Winfrey. She was fired from her first television job. They told her she was unfit for TV. A loss, a humiliation. But God multiplied it. She built an empire. She became one of the most powerful women in the world. Those who counted her out had to watch her redefine the industry. Look at Michael Jordan. Cut from his high school basketball team. They counted that loss as proof he wasn't good enough. But God multiplied it into the drive that made him the greatest basketball player to ever live. Every championship, every record, every trophy was built on the ashes of that first rejection. Now I want you to pause and think, what loss are you carrying? What failure haunts you? What betrayal scars you? Whatever it is, I need you to understand this. It is not the end. It is the seed. And if you plant it with faith, God will multiply it. This is the battlefield. Your mind, your soul, your belief system. And I am here to tell you, stop letting people count your losses while you forget to count God's multiplication. They don't see the whole story. They don't see the chapters God has written that haven't unfolded yet. They don't see the doors about to open. They don't see the blessings being prepared. All they see are the wounds. But God sees the warrior. All they see are the scars. But God sees the survivor. All they see are the failures. But God sees the future. So let them count. Let them laugh. Let them gossip. Let them mock. Their voices cannot override God's verdict. You were built for this. You were chosen for this. And the very losses they use to measure your life will be the very proof God uses to measure your victory.